Greetings once again, my dear traveller. Pray tell, how doth the day treat you since we last met? Ah, I am most pleased to hear you are of good health. Once again, I expect you're looking to hear another one of my legendary stories. Well, who am I to disappoint? Come, dear traveller, sit on this chair here, and I shall tell a tale of vanity and conceit that I have chosen to name Skye. Anyone who knows James the Red Engine knows the story of how he got his famous red paint after he came off the rails when he was pushed by some trucks on his first day. Unfortunately, James liked being complimented on his red coat so much that he became rather vain and conceited, often refusing to do any work that put his splendid red paint at risk. Naturally, this annoyed both the Topham Hatt, NWR staff and the other engines. One day, James was having a washdown and was starting to annoy the cleaner with his constant micromanaging.
No, are you stupid, man? You need more polish on that rag of yours. How can I be a splendid engine with dull brass?
James, I'm using the same amount of polish that I use for every engine. None of them complain and constantly tell me how to do my job.
But, unlike other engines like Thomas or Gordon, I have a reputation to uphold, meaning my paintwork must gleam like I was on fire and my brass shines like the sun.
If I were you, James, I wouldn't brag so much about your brass fittings, or you might end up like Skye.
And who, not that I really care, is Skye?
Skye was an engine on my old railway in the Midlands. She was of the same class as Rosie, even chose to keep her War Department livery after the war, unlike most of her sisters. But what really set Skye apart from her sisters were her eyes.
Her eyes? What was so special about her eyes?
Skye's eyes were like two large sapphires, seeing how everyone commented on the way they seemed to sparkle like the stone. They even thought of nicknaming her Sapphire Skye.
Yes, well, sapphire blue eyes are all well and good, but they're nothing compared to a coat of shiny red paint with gold numbering and brass so polished.
And there you go again, bragging about your paint and brass just the way Skye bragged about her eyes.
She was really that bad?
Oh yeah, she was terrible. It started off small, but soon it became unbearable.
You know, I really do feel sorry for you poor darlings. It must be maddening to have found such beauty as I possess.
Skye, for the love of God, will you please stop talking about how wonderful your eyes are and go to sleep already? It's 5 o'clock in the jumping morning.
Well, someone's more than a little jealous, it seems. Am I right, or am I right?
God, she really does sound unbearable. So what happened next?
Eventually, nobody could bear to sleep in the same shed as her, so they all put in for a transfer. At first, it was just 1 or 2 engines, but eventually, the whole shed was empty bar Skye. Of course, she was too vain and conceited to realise the problem. She just thought everyone was madly jealous or intimidated by her sheer beauty.
Well, that's daft. What's the point in having something worth showing off to people if there's no one around to show it off to?
Oh, Skye soon got someone's attention again. Although, if she told you now, she'd tell you she'd rather she hadn't caught this particular individual's attention. One night, Skye was alone in the shed again, when suddenly, she saw a large black tender engine backing down onto the berth next to her.
Oh, marvellous. Some actual company at last. Good evening to you, good sir.
Oh my, I do apologise. I didn't realise there was anyone else in this shed. Forgive me, my dear lady. If I am not permitted to be here, then I am more than willing to seek other accommodations elsewhere.
No, please stay. I mean, you are more than welcome to stay, my good sir.
Are you quite sure? I wouldn't wish to be taking anyone's spot. What with I being a mere visitor to these parts?
Oh, you're not taking anyone's spot. Believe me.
Really? I find that hard to believe. I'd have thought a shed of this size would be brimming with engines, yet I only see you.
Oh, Well, they are currently out on jobs at the moment. In fact, the fellow whose berth you currently reside in has gone off to Exeter. Yes, that's right. He's gone off to Exeter, so shouldn't be back until tomorrow afternoon.
And when can we expect the others back? Surely they've not all gone off to Exeter as well?
Oh, heavens no. They're all on local jobs, but shan't be back until the morning.
Is that so? Sounds like I chose the perfect spot after all then. Well then, if we're to be roomies for the night, I suppose we should formally introduce ourselves. Naturally, I shall be a perfect gentleman, let the lady lead.
Oh my, you are quite the charmer, sir. My name is Skye, and you are, good sir?
I'm known by many names, but the one I'm accustomed to the most is Alistister, and it's a pleasure to meet you, quite a pleasure.
My, what a refined name. Certainly the name of a gentleman if I've ever heard one. Pray, what brings you to our section of the network, Alistair?
Oh, as I stated before, I am simply passing through, picking up a few odds and ends on my way.
Oh, so you're long-distance goods, are you? What are you hauling, if I may ask?
Oh, just some spare parts and nothing more, my dear.
And to where are you headed, Alistair? Up north to Yorkshire? Or down south to the West Country?
Pardon me for changing the topic, my dear, but I've only just noticed your eyes. They almost sparkle like sapphires.
How kind of you to notice, good sir.
I expect you must make quite a few female engines jealous with eyes as beautiful as those. And no doubt male engines flock for miles to look at such beautiful eyes.
Yes, it is a curse to be blessed with eyes, just as mine, but without them, I'd be nothing.
I tell you, my dear, if I had eyes like those, I'd feel immense joy at knowing that I possess them. You know, between you and me, I'd love nothing more than to pick them from your sockets and put them into my own so I can show the whole world.
Wow, major creep factor or what?
That's the thing about hindsight, James. We can easily look back and see the obvious signs. But when we're in the thick of it, it's not always easy to see the signs. And Skye certainly missed the signs. She and Alistister talked for hours on end. Every so often, Skye would try to get more information out of Alistister, such as where he came from, if he had any friends back home, what he thought of current affairs in the world, and every time she asked a question or opened up the conversation to debate, Alistister either gave a vague answer to the question or skipped around it entirely. If anything, he was seemingly more and more captivated by her eyes, constantly comparing them to sapphires, the moon, deep lakes, and other such charismatic and complimentary slop. At first, Skye had enjoyed the attention she was getting from Alistister, finding his voice in praise entrapping, but as time went by, she started feeling more and more on edge about him.
Oh, look, Alistair, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but I think it's time we got some sleep. I mean, you no doubt have to be early if you're to make your next pickup destination on time.
Alrighty, my dear, it's time I ought to be going. Believe me, I've enjoyed our little chat, but I just can't wait any longer. You know, I do mean it when I say that if I had eyes like yours, I'd feel immense joy at knowing that I possess them.
I'm glad you feel that way, Alistair. Really, I
also mean it when I say that I'd love nothing more than to pick them from your sockets and put them into my own so I can show the whole world.
Alistair, you're starting to scare me.
So why wait any longer? Let's dispense with the pleasantries already and get down to what I really came to do.
And what's that?
You haven't been listening, have you, Skye? I said that I like your eyes. That I want nothing more than to pluck them from your sockets so they can be mine. Well, I've grown tired of waiting, so I'm going to pluck them from your sockets right now.
You better get out of here. The others will be back soon. Then you won't be able to do anything to me.
You foolish girl, do you seriously take me for an idiot? I know that you've driven everyone who ever cared about you away with your incessant boasting and showboating, just like all the others.
Others? What others?
I said I picked up odds and ends, didn't I? You'd have figured out what that truly meant if you hadn't been so full of pride.
My God, you're some kind of butcher that collects trophies of engines like me, aren't you?
Ding, ding, ding! Give the lady a prize. I travelled up and down these rails seeking out engines so full of vanity and arrogance that they've driven everyone away. Appeal to their sense of vanity, and when the time is right, take the item of most desire.
But why? Why do you do it?
Truthfully, I don't know. Maybe I was once an engine driven mad by the arrogance of others who, just because they had a different hue of paint or slightly louder whistle, made them feel better than their peers. Or perhaps I was one of those arrogant fools and I do this out of a desire to be the most splendid engine in hell. Truth be told, if I am going to have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice.
I can't believe I was taken in by all your charms and wit. Oh, if I hadn't driven the others away, they'd probably have told me to be wary of you.
My poor simple girl, just because you see a smile, don't think you know what's going on underneath. A smile is a valuable tool, my dear. It inspires your friends, keeps your enemies guessing, and no matter what comes your way, you're the one in control.
So what happens then?
According to Skye, the thing side roads transformed into thin branch-like arms with sharp claws that dug into the flesh around her eye sockets before gripping hold of her eyes and pulling until they popped out of the sockets with what sounded like a wet cork coming out of a bottle. She said she screamed and screamed, but of course, she'd driven everyone so far away there was no chance anyone could hear her. In the morning, she was discovered by her crew. Her fireman said the sight of her eyeless sockets was so disturbing, he promptly threw up behind the shed until there was nothing left to throw up, and they say her driver went into shock and was eventually submitted to a psychiatric hospital.
And Skye?
No one could stand to look at her. The sight of her eyeless sockets just turned stomachs and made some of the engines start to steam badly. Shortly after the incident, I moved to work on Sodor, so I've no idea what actually happened to her. Some say she begged to be scrapped, whilst others say the director of my old railway bricked her up in a shed where she screamed and screamed until the day her voice finally rusted away.
And what about that thing, that Alistister guy?
Best I know, he's still out there somewhere, carrying out his twisted crusade against conceitedness and vanity. That's why I warned you not to be so insistent on always looking splendid, James. For all you know, he might just take a liking to brass fittings you can see your face in.
From that day on, James was more careful about how he conducted himself. If ever a job that he used to detest came up, James immediately took it on without fuss, much to the surprise of the workmen, the other engines, and even the fat controller. At the end of the day, James still has washdowns, but he doesn't mind if his paintwork and brass doesn't shine as much. The other engines tried to ask James as to what suddenly brought on his change of attitude, but James never told them the story of Skye. Not because he thought they would laugh at him or call him silly for believing in old wives' tales, but rather because he was worried that he might tempt fate by talking about it. Luckily, James is yet to see a large black tender engine that isn't one of the Caledonian twins, Barry or Neville, backing down into the berth next to him. Well, traveller, what did you think of that story then? Yes, I quite agree. There are a lot of people in the world that could learn from the story of Skye. As for Alistister? Ah, I dare not tempt fate, good traveller, but you should have nothing to fear if you are simply modest in what assets you have. Ah, the clock doth toll the hour, and summons me back to my work. Farewell, my good traveller, and remember, be modest in beauty and possession, lest you get a visit from Alistister the Collector.